Welcome to the Mystery Thunderbird, a place where ancient legends take flight, where storms carry stories, and the skies hide secrets waiting to be told. Join us as we journey into myths, mysteries, and timeless tales. The Thunderbird awaits. Before the time of recorded history, before the dawn of civilization, when the earth was young, humans lived as small tribes, always moving, always searching for new hunting grounds, never staying too long in one place. They lived in harmony with all living things. The animals, the trees, the rivers, and the mountains were their allies, their food and their medicine. They learned to live with nature, taking only what they needed and giving back in respect and gratitude. They lived a pure life, free from corruption and greed, at peace with each other and with the natural world around them. But there was something else, too. There was something powerful that soared through the skies above them, something big enough to blot out the sun, something with eyes that flashed lightning, and a cry that shook the very foundations of the mountains. This great spirit bird was a mystery to them. They didn't know where it came from, or why it sometimes attacked them, snatching their prey right out of the sky, or striking their canoes out of the water. But it also saved them from saber-toothed tigers and bears, and it protected their villages from harm. It was a being of immense power, and they knew not to question its motives or its wrath. Some say the Thunderbird's name was Wendigo, but that's another story for another day. Today we will talk about how it first appeared over the land, how it showed itself to be both destroyer and savior, and how it left a legacy that would echo throughout time. Long ago, when the great spirit bird first appeared in the sky, it was heralded by a great rumble, like the sound of a giant grinding its teeth. People looked up in awe and terror as dark clouds gathered beneath the wings of this enormous bird, which stretched from horizon to horizon. Its eyes flashed with jagged bolts of lightning, and its beak was a glowing inferno. When it cried out, the thunder roared, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. The people fell to their knees and bowed their heads as the Thunderbird circled slowly overhead. It seemed to be looking for something, searching the ground below with its sharp eyes. Then suddenly it swooped down toward the river and plunged its talons into the water. A huge wave crashed outward as the Thunderbird emerged from the water with a fish in its beak. It rose back into the sky, its wings beating the air and sending birds of all shapes and sizes flying away in panic. And then it disappeared behind the clouds, leaving the people staring up at the sky in amazement and fear. Where did such a great creature come from? What was it doing in these parts? No one had ever seen anything like it before. It was unlike any bird, eagle, or hawk that they had hunted for food. It was far too big, far too powerful. Its shadow fell across the land, making the day seem like night. Its cry was a terrifying sound that echoed in their nightmares long after they had heard it. Then, one day, a young hunter fell fast asleep in his lodge. He had been out hunting for days, and his body ached with fatigue. As he slept, he dreamed of chasing a great buck through the forest. The deer was huge, with antlers like branches and fur like polished jet. It leaped over logs and streams with ease, and the hunter struggled to keep up. Finally, he got close enough to take his shot, but as he raised his bow and arrow, The deer turned and stared at him with eyes that glowed like embers. Then it vanished into a swirl of mist and reappeared high above him, circling slowly in the sky. As the hunter watched in wonder, the great bird spread its wings and let out a cry that shook the very forest around him. Then it dove toward him, its eyes fixed on his own. As it approached, the hunter saw the lightning flashing from its eyes and felt the wind from its wings buffet him like a leaf in a storm. The Thunderbird landed softly on the ground in front of him, and the hunter found himself trembling with fear and excitement. The bird spoke to him in a voice that rumbled like thunder. "You have hunted many animals in my name, and I have watched over you and your people since you first arrived in this valley. I have seen how you live, how you hunt, how you treat each other and the animals around you. You are a good hunter, and I am pleased with you." The hunter fell to his knees and bowed his head in gratitude. "I thank you, Great Spirit Bird, for your words. I have always tried to do my best to provide for my people. If there is anything I can do for you, please tell me, and I will do it." The Thunderbird regarded him for a moment in silence. "You are brave and strong, and I have chosen you to be my messenger to the people. Tell them that I am watching over them, that I am their protector, but also their punisher. If they do not respect the balance of all living things, if they do not live in harmony with each other and the animals and plants around them, then I will punish them. But if they live in peace and harmony, then I will protect them." The hunter awoke from his sleep with a start. He could still hear the Thunderbird's voice ringing in his ears, and he could still see its eyes blazing in the sky. He knew that it was gone, but he also knew that it would return. As the seasons passed and years turned into decades, the hunter told the story of the Thunderbird to anyone who would listen. He warned them to live in harmony with each other and with nature, for the sake of themselves and for the sake of their children. Most people listened and followed his advice, but some scoffed at his warnings and continued to do as they pleased. And then one day, the sky darkened and the winds grew fierce. A great storm gathered overhead, unlike any storm the people had ever seen before. The trees swayed and creaked as the wind tore through the forest. The rain poured down in torrents, flooding the rivers and making the earth muddy. The people huddled in their homes, shaking in fear as the storm raged outside. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning split the sky, and a clap of thunder shook the very foundations of their homes. Then they heard it, a cry so loud and terrible that it made their blood run cold. The cry of the Thunderbird. The people rushed to the windows and looked out at the raging storm. They could see the lightning flashing in the distance and felt the thunder rumbling in their bones. And then they saw it, a dark shape silhouetted against the lightning. A huge bird with wings spread wide, silhouetted against the dark clouds. It circled slowly in the sky, its cry echoing through the mountains and valleys. The people watched in awe and terror as the Thunderbird flew closer and closer. It seemed to be coming right for them, its eyes fixed on their village. They could see the anger in its eyes, the fury in its posture. It was not the gentle, majestic creature the hunter had described. This was a creature of pure power and wrath, and it was coming for them. The people fell to their knees and begged for mercy. They had not followed the hunter's warnings. They had not lived in harmony with each other or the natural world. Now, the Thunderbird was here to punish them. It let out a deafening cry and swooped down toward the village. Its talons extended. The people cowered in their homes as the Thunderbird struck, its talons raking across the roofs and walls. The villagers screamed and ran for cover as their homes were destroyed and their belongings scattered. The Thunderbird was relentless, and it seemed as though nothing could stop it. But just as it was about to strike again, the hunter from the old tribe stepped forward. He stood in the path of the Thunderbird, raising his arms in a gesture of peace. Great Spirit Bird, I am the one who has spoken to you. I am the one who has warned the people. Please do not destroy them, for they are my people, and I am their leader. Punish me instead. The Thunderbird regarded him for a moment, and the hunter could feel the weight of its gaze upon him. Then it let out a sigh that sounded like the wind through a canyon and vanished into the clouds. The storm slowly began to subside, and the people emerged from their hiding places, shaken but unharmed. They looked around at the damage to their homes and belongings and realized the truth of the hunter's words. They had not lived in harmony with each other or with nature. They had taken more than they needed, polluted the rivers and forests, and treated each other with disrespect. They vowed to change their ways and live in harmony with the natural world. From that day on, they lived in peace and balance, honoring the animals and plants around them and sharing what they had with those in need. They knew that the Thunderbird was watching over them, and they were grateful for its protection. For many years, they lived in peace, until one day the signs of trouble began to appear once again. The sky grew dark and stormy, and the animals became restless and agitated. The hunter from the old tribe knew that the balance was breaking again, and he warned the people to turn back to the old ways. But they had grown complacent and did not listen. And so the great Thunderbird returned once more, and that is a story for another day. For now, the people will learn their lesson and live in balance with the natural world. Or will they turn away from the old ways once again and face the wrath of the great Thunderbird? Only time will tell.